Hi, Joe Caminati here today at Average Joes Archery to talk to you about the Genesis bow. Whether you're coming here to Average Joes Archery for your first time or you're going to try out one of your local archery clubs or a school program, the Genesis might be the bow that you're going to shoot. So today I'm just going to go through some of the basics, show you how to shoot it, some of the different parts that you need to be aware of, so that way you can have fun next time you go to the archery range and shoot. So the Genesis is a compound bow. It's a single cam compound bow. You shoot it instinctively, much like you would a recurve or any other traditional equipment, but it's got a really smooth draw cycle, which makes it easier to shoot. It also has no draw stop on it, so that it's super adjustable or versatile for anybody out there. So you can shoot it, I can shoot it, just about anybody can shoot the Genesis bow and have a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to go through the shooting process here and explain some of the different steps as I go along. Depending on your range rules, you always want to start 1 foot on either side of the shooting line here, perpendicular to the target. The black handle here is the grip. It's nice and contoured for your hand, so it's easy to grip or find that perfect placement. You always want to make sure that your wrist is directly behind the riser of the bow. You never want to get it off to the side like that. Always hold directly behind. Nice, relaxed, comfortable grip. You don't want to over squeeze it or anything like that, just nice and relaxed and comfortable. The next step is you're going to go ahead and load your arrows. This happens to be the Genesis arrow. It's perfectly matched for the Genesis bow, made by Easton Archery. When you load that, you're going to go ahead and set it right here on that flipper rest, and you're going to knock that arrow. We run the 2 knock format here. If you have just a single knock, you're going to want to be directly below that single knock. If you have the dual knocks, you're going to be in between the 2 knocks but up against the top. Top knock locates the arrow, bottom knock is going to locate your fingers. Now you notice on this arrow, or most of your arrows, you'll have 2 of one color fletching, and you'll always have an odd color fletching. That odd color fletching faces out away from the bow or towards you. This allows the arrow to slide through the flipper rest that comes standard equipment on the Genesis bow, making minimal contact. If you flip that around here, it'll kind of hang up in the arrow rest there. You can tear up your vanes, you can actually break your arrow rest, and you're not going to have very much accuracy. So you always want to have that odd fletching facing out away from the bow or towards you. Now, there's 2 different styles of grips when you're shooting the Genesis bow. There's what we call the conventional grip, which is 1 finger on top, 2 on bottom, or there's the international grip, which is just 3 fingers on the bottom. Most programs now are teaching the international grip because you don't have to worry about knock pinch or arrow pinch or that arrow falling off the rest as you draw back. So we recommend that you always run 3 fingers right up against that bottom knock, leaving a little bit of space in between the arrow and your fingers themselves. That way you're not transferring any of that torque when you're trying to shoot the Genesis. So once again, 3 fingers, tuck your thumb and your pinky finger just like that. Slide those fingers right up against the bottom knock. Now, when you're ready to shoot, you're going to extend your arm, elbow slightly bent. Very, very important to have a little bit of bend in your arrow. If I have my arm completely straight like this, you'll notice where that string is resting. One of the big things that we see with new shooters is they have that arm straight like that, and when they release that string, the string comes and smacks them in the forearm here. We call it string bite. Not very comfortable. You can leave a little bruise or raspberry on your forearm. So always try to remember when you're extending that front elbow, a little bit of bend in that elbow to clear some space between the string and your forearm. This the arm that's pulling the arrow, or excuse me, pulling the string back, you want a little bit bend in that elbow nice and high, and you're going to draw back and try to find an anchor point on your face. Now, an anchor point is a spot on your face that your hand goes that you can repeat every time. Now, when I'm tucking my thumb and my pinky finger, I hook that right behind my jaw. Now I'm going to sight down the arrow. I'm going to point the tip of the arrow right at the bullseye, and I'm going to release my fingers, just relaxing them, letting the arrow go. Now, you'll notice that the arrow went a little bit high to the right. When I'm shooting the Genesis bow with no sights on it, I have to shoot what's either called an aim point style shooting or an instinctive style shooting. So I need to make some adjustments. So when I knock that second arrow, if I notice that my arrow is going high to the right, and instead of aiming right at the, or excuse me, high to the left, instead of aiming right at the bullseye, I'm going to make some adjustments with the tip of the arrow. I'm going to move it down and slightly to the right so that my arrow goes more in the center of the target. So once again, 3 fingers all together, tuck that thumb and that pinky finger, sliding it right up against that bottom knock. You're going to extend your arm, elbow slightly bent, this elbow nice and high. Draw back, hand into your cheek, get that anchor point. Sight down the arrow, point the tip of the arrow right at the target. And then just relax those fingers and release the string. And hopefully your arrow goes into the middle just like that. So whether you're getting involved in a school program or just looking for a recreational bow, the Genesis could be a right fit for you. So this is our Tech Talk here at Average Joes Archery talking about the Genesis bow. If you have any more questions or want to come try one out, obviously come on in and we'll get you started. Thanks a lot and have a great night.